I'm going to show you three barrels today. The first one is the P09. This one has, I guess, 8 years old, 15,000 rounds. I lost count. But this is what it looks like using my latest technique. You can see the bore's not smooth completely. There's some small pitting. There's some discoloration that is probably just a tiny bit of carbon, but the technique that I've used here is you got to be careful. When you take that reflector out and pull the borescope back out the barrel toward the chamber, it looks a lot rougher than it does when you look at it with a mirror, for example, which is what I've got here. You can see the tiny pits and some discoloration, but the barrel is pretty clean. You can also see some of the original machining marks in the barrel. As you get out toward the end of the barrel, the pits become a little more noticeable, and particularly the last inch or so. And if you look at the pits and the bore right at the muzzle, you'd think this barrel has had it, but it hasn't. Those pits don't seem to affect anything other than it holds up some carbon when you're trying to clean it. So this one is good to go. Next is the P10F, and it looks different than the other barrels. This one's completely different. And I thought at first, I thought it was just a really rough machine job in the grooves when the barrel was made. But I've changed my mind on that. I think this is just baked in carbon that I haven't been able to get out yet. And the lands are extremely smooth. There's not much wear on this barrel because it's a year old. But I think I caked in and hard baked the carbon. And if you pull my reflector out and pull the borescope back, you'll see that that there's no way that's a machining problem. That's got to be just carbon that's still left. And then when you look at it with a 90-degree mirror, it because it's shiny, you'd think it was metal, but there's no way, I don't think, that this is a machining problem. I don't think you could chatter this much through there, and I also don't think you could make scratches like this. Now, if you find some places where there appears to be metal underneath this dark material, and what I'm hoping is that when and if I get all the carbon out, what we'll see is grooves that are just as smooth as the lands on the P10F. So when there's the area where it looks like there might be some metal underneath that buildup. So, and you also notice there's very little machine marks on the lands. So it's just the grooves that still appear to be fouled. Then we go to the P10C, and this one actually has a large number of rounds in it because I was just fascinated by this gun when I first got it. I've had it, I think, 3 years. So again, the bore looks good. Back out, looks like it's still got some stuff in it, and it probably does. You look at it with a 90-degree mirror, and you can still see some discoloration, and there's a couple of tiny specks of copper or carbon or something in places, but the machine work is perfect. The groove edges are sharp. So, and there's a tiny bit of carbon still in this barrel. I just can't get it out. But that's it. P10F is going back in the olive jar.